If you have been keeping an eye on a housing market, this video is for you. The Canadian Real Estate Association just released the latest forecast for 2025 and 2026, and there is also a brand new rebate on a GST HST that is in the works for first-time home buyers. Let's break it down on what's happening, what's changing, and what that means for you. Hi everyone, this is Milena, your local real estate guide in the West GTA area. A couple of housekeeping items before we start the video. Please click like, subscribe, and follow. This way you stay tuned with everything that is happening in our area. If you need to get in touch with me, this is easy. My information is in the description box below. You can reach me via email, phone call, Zoom, whatever works for you. We're there for you.
Now we are going to dive into the statistics of the real estate market that was forecasted by CREA, and hopefully there is a light in the tunnel. So forget what happened about you, me, or anybody else. Let's focus for a couple of minutes to see what is to be expected, and then we're gonna share stories. In 2024, CREA forecast a recovery year in Canada's real estate housing markets, fueled by pent-up demand and lower interest rates. By mid-fall 2024, the rebound appeared to be underway. The forecast would have seen national home sales once again top the 500,000 mark in 2025, and the average price of those sales returned to 700,000 range. And we saw actually a lot of buyers going back to the market because they were attracted by the lower prices. The interest rates started to level up and dropping eventually, just a little bit, but still very helpful. And things were looking up until in the early 2025, tariff chaos and economic uncertainty returned many home buyers back to the sidelines, taking particularly large bites out of activity in British Columbia and Ontario, while putting additional downward pressure on prices. And yes, it was a lot of scare, a lot of worries. People were losing their jobs. The economic uncertainty was again out of hand. So that's exactly what happened. So the predictions fell.
On the other hand, I don't want to be pessimist in this market, but how many people do you know that they lost their jobs recently? I know quite a few, which is not a good sign. And please share your comments. Let us know, what do you think about that? How do you feel? Are you scared of what is coming up and how the economy is doing?
And now let's look at the positive side of the story, that since March 2025, home sales start increasing, which means the comeback is happening, but much slower than it was expected. So now in 2025, 473,000 residential homes will exchange hands or will trade hands with new owners, but that represents 1.1% decline from 2024. And it's very important to see that the national dip is a result of the forecast declines in British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario, slightly offsetting the gains elsewhere. And before we sound too negative again, remember that the dip comes mostly from the higher prices in those three provinces, which offsets the national average. So if we look at in 2026, we're gonna see a change. But before we go to that, just keep in mind that the national average home prices is forecast to decline by 1.4% on annual basis to 676,000 in 2025. Again, I'm mentioning this is mostly because of the expensive provinces. Otherwise, the other provinces are actually looking up, and I am going to give you an example with my friend who just bought a house on the east.
And now I'm gonna tell you about my friend who bought a house on the East Coast, 3-bedroom, 2 baths. I want you to tell me how much the house is. Some numbers in your head. How much do you think the East Coast is against Ontario? Much cheaper province, right? So it's 200,000 and it's ocean view. But you do need to keep in mind that this is remote community. So if you're into fishing or any kind of ocean activity, that could be the right place for you. Also, if you're working from home. Otherwise, if you're looking for more of an activity, lifestyle, people around you, job opportunities, then definitely it's not for you. But it just tells you the difference in the price range between the provinces.
2026 looks much better for sellers. It says that national home sales are forecasted to rebound by 7.7% to 510,000, the highest level for activity since 2021, which means that the end of 2025 will still give opportunity to buyers because you still can negotiate prices much better since they're at lower bracket right now. But 2026 will heat up the market, and that's what is projected, that the national average home price is forecast to increase by 3.2% from 2025 to almost 700,000 in 2026, which we're hitting again the 700,000 mark. So buyers, watch out. You're looking into opportunities now by the end of the year. And sellers, good luck to you. Just wait for the market to recover in 2026 and hopefully you can recover your losses.
If you need help finding a property in our area, feel free to reach out. My information is in the description box below. You can reach me via email, you can shoot me a text, you can call me, we can do a Zoom call. Whatever works for you, we're there for you.
Now we are at the exciting part about the first-time homebuyer GST/HST rebate that was proposed by the Canadian government to make the housing market more affordable for first-time home buyers. There are requirements that we're going to go over real quick, but if you want to read about it, it's canada.ca taxes. And because the proposed legislation has not received royal assent yet, that's why it says applications are not available, but they will be in 2026, hopefully. So what the proposed rebate entails. First, the rebate is for eligible individuals who are buying or building their first home. This home must be two things: newly built or substantially renovated, and secondly, both for use as an individual's primary place of residence. They're underlined here, both requirements, so please read about them because it's important to qualify. Depending on the value of the home, the individual could recover up to 100% of the GST paid up to 50,000. So here now are the brackets for new homes valued. Up to 1 million, the rebate would be up to 100%. Between 1 million and 1.5, the maximum rebate would be gradually reduced, and then at or above 1.5 million, there is no rebate. So here's an example. If your home is 1.25, then the individual would be eligible for rebate of 25,000, which is in the middle between 1 million and 1.5. Now, who may be eligible? Very important. First, you need to be at least the age of 18. Then, Canadian citizen or permanent resident. And now those two other boxes are really important. You have not lived in a home that you or your spouse or common law partner owned or jointly owned, whatever, in or outside of Canada, as your primary place of residence at any time in the calendar year or the previous 4 calendar years. This is very important for first-time homebuyers because usually if you have a place outside of Canada, you're not considered as one, but now they're asking just for 4 years in a row that you do not have such. Then the fourth requirement is you meet all the criteria above on a specific date. This date will depend on whatever you bought your home from a builder or you build it yourself. So I'm not gonna go over the rest, but you can click on each and it gives you an example. For instance, if you purchase a home from a builder, you must be a first-time home buyer at the time when ownership of this home is transferred to you. It gives you all the breakdowns. And now the last one that you need to be certain of, that neither you nor your spouse or common law partner have previously received first-time homebuyer GST or HST rebate. So if previously you applied for such a rebate, you cannot have another one. And then it goes over it again. As a first-time homebuyer may be eligible if you have done one of the following. So it tells you all the requirements that you need to fulfill to qualify for this rebate. It's a really good thing. We are looking forward to it for sure. And then the forms that you're going to use will be GST 190 and then GST 191. And once it's approved, we can take an opportunity of this that the Canadian government is giving to first-time home buyers.
I was talking to a friend of mine how the market is trending, and we both noticed, like everybody else around us, that actually things are going in regression, not progression, in terms like the young people now are staying longer with their parents because they cannot afford the current housing. So what is really happening today and why we are going this way, why it cannot be more affordable? Please let me know what you think about that. Post your comments in a box. So the market in 2025 definitely cooled off, but right now it's showing that it's gaining its momentum and prices are holding steady. We know lots of people that they put their houses on the market, then they pull it off. So hopefully this thing levels up and we can get the buyers and the sellers active. And meanwhile, the good news is maybe $50,000 rebate is going your way. We're going to find more about this in January when the Canadian Real Estate Association releases the new forecast. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe, click like and follow. I do post real estate insights every single week along with market trends and tips for buyers, sellers and investors. And if you need any help, if you have any questions real estate related, feel free to reach out. My information is in the description box below. You can reach me via email, phone call, Zoom, whatever works for you. We're there for you. My name is Milena. Thank you so much for staying with me throughout the video. You have a great day and I will see you on the next one.